I didn't know anything about Trump's policies. I just voted for him. Nah, Maga, you can't get away with that with me, right? Because you were too loud before the election about how it was going to make the country better. So when you hear Maga say things like that, you know what that is? That's somebody that's a coward. They're afraid to stand up and align themselves visually, right? For everybody to know with all the crappy shit you see happening right now, they know it doesn't look good, but they don't have the backbone to still align themselves with it. So now it becomes, I didn't know no better. You knew enough to be loud about it before the election, so I know enough about it to keep calling you out on it now. Stop making these people feel comfortable. The problem is people like MAGA folk who go all in on stuff like that, and then when it gets really, really bad, they want to act like, well, I didn't know any better. You're not a child. You're a grown-ass adult. You're not a child. So I'm not going to treat you like one. And what do conservatives always talk about? Personal responsibility. And that's what I expect you to have too. But I'm not going to let any MAGA get away with, I didn't know. Well, you should have known. Or you should have stayed your ass at home.
Signing executive orders is not the way our country was supposed to be run. Nobody ever heard of an executive order. Then all of a sudden Obama, because he couldn't get anybody to agree with him, he starts signing them like they're butter.
You have a president that signs executive orders because he can't get anything done.
He signs on immigration and on other things. I want to not use too many executive orders, folks. The executive orders are an outrage. We have a president that can't lead. He said, the hell with it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to rest and I want to do other things, including going out play golf. This guy played hundreds of rounds of golf. Because I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to go play golf. And I love golf. I think it's one of the greats, but I don't have time. Obama ought to get off the golf course and get down there. Because he doesn't have enough time because he's playing so much golf. I just want to stay in the White House and work my ass off.
As someone who was raised MAGA, the sad reality is that a lot of white women only vote the way they do because of their husbands. And white women are a demographic of people that consistently, historically have voted against their own interests. If you are a white MAGA woman, I want to tell you right now, there's a high chance that your husband is probably cheating on you. And if he's not doing it in the physical world, he's doing it in the online space. Most people who consume OnlyFans and other content are married. And here are some messages that I have gotten in my DMs on Instagram. This guy directly says that he hates his wife and he is trying to get me to send him explicit content or whatever. I don't do that, but point being, I like to talk to these men to see what is going on in their lives and where they live. And if I can, I will try to get a hold of their wives. Can't even tell you how common of a pattern this is and how many messages I get of married MAGA men trying to get me to engage in this work with them. So if you are a woman and you voted MAGA, be careful where you place your loyalty. It's always better to think for yourself than relying on him, because look what he's doing behind your back.
I'm Pastor Foster, and this is my Holy Hot Take. We welcomed some Afrikaners to the United States of America with great fanfare. Members of this administration showed up to welcome them as refugees seeking a better way of life, seeking all the freedoms that America can offer here. People fleeing oppressive government, violence, fleeing to the United States of America, and it was celebratory. Meanwhile, the Afghanis who have been waiting for years and years and years, who have been vetted, who have been cleared for travel, who have all the requirements met to be refugees here in America, especially the ones who aided our forces and our government in our never declared war over there, they're not going to be resettled. People of color who flee here from countries with great violence, they're not going to be able to come into our country anymore. We have stopped the flow of all refugees except for these Afrikaners. And what is it that makes the Afrikaners so different from all of these other refugees? People who have demonstrated their loyalty to us and their willingness to help us on their soil and put their own lives and families at great risk. There's one difference. They're white. This administration said that they would be easier to assimilate into our country. The reality is, in America, there are very few options to trace your heritage. Native American, immigrant, descendant of slaves. That's it. America has always been a country of immigrants. And immigrants are what renew our cities. Immigrants are what make us great. People who long to be a part of this country, who want to come here and get amazing educations and contribute to the health and wealth of our country, who bring their experiences here and make America so much better and stronger and vibrant and exciting. When people come here and become Americans, we don't have a racial test, not on paper anyway, for what it requires an American to be. You come here, you learn who we are, you learn our laws, you learn our history, you take a pledge of allegiance, and that's how you become an American, or you're born here. It is the height of hypocrisy that these Afrikaners who were never oppressed at home have fled here when they didn't need to. But the people who actually need to flee, who need to come here so that they are not tortured and destroyed back home, are not being allowed to come. It is the height of hypocrisy. It is wrong. It's just wrong. And if you think that, we don't have a story to teach us about the need to flee from oppressive regimes, then you have forgotten the flight to Egypt, where Joseph had a dream and he took his family and he fled to Egypt, another country, without papers. And they fled there because a narcissistic, psychopathic politician named Herod, who was so easily threatened by a baby king, sent all of his soldiers to kill all the children in and around Bethlehem, age 2 and under. That's our Christian heritage, that Jesus was an undocumented refugee who had to flee from where he was to somewhere else to avoid violence. We welcome the stranger, and we welcome our neighbors, or at least we used to. Remember, Jesus loves you, and I do too.
Unfriendly reminder to the high school flunky turned Facebook history experts that are cheering about Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Do you know what the last time we used that was for? We used that shit to justify the existence of Japanese internment camps in the 40s. You know, when 65% of the people interned were American goddamn citizens, born and raised here. It is one of the most black-hearted and disgusting things our nation has done in recent history, and I hope you're all ready to watch that demented dick snot stain try and one-up it. It is fucking ridiculous how quickly you pivot from "don't tread on me" to "the government's the supreme power," as long as they're going after people you don't like. So when the government comes to tread on you, and make no mistake, they will, because they don't give a fuck about you. Don't come crying to me. You motherfuckers are just fine with the government going after people that you don't like, so I'm going to give you that same motherfucking energy. I don't like you. I don't like anything you stand for. And whoever told you that you should be yourself gives fucking terrible advice.
So I was having a conversation with this Trump supporter, a diehard Trump supporter, and I asked him, why did you support Donald Trump? And one of the reasons he gave me was that Trump is working for the common man. Trump is working for every American. Is that true? Is Trump really working for the common American? Because I don't believe it's true. And if it's so, guys, tell me in the comments. Continue subscribing, continue liking, and tell me in the comments. Is Trump working for the common man?
All right, I'm going to read to you a conversation that I had with my father.
So this all started because I sent him a video of someone that was going through and reading the sections of the big beautiful bill that are going to negatively impact people. And I did this because I care about him and I wanted him to be like informed if this is going to affect him, you know? It's like, I don't know what medical care he has. I just wanted him to be aware. So I sent it to him and all I said is, this is a long one, but important. Nothing else. And this is what he had to say. I'm sorry, honey, but I can't believe that you believe this bull. This is exactly the same lies that the Democratic Party has been telling you for the last 10 years. I don't know who you is in this scenario because I was 15 10 years ago, all right? I was worried about my relationships with boys and my grades in high school. Every time you hear something, it's doom and gloom, and every terrible thing is going to happen, but it's all lies. Please wake up and quit being one of the sheep that follows the herd and believes everything you hear. Now, this clearly upset me because I don't speak to people like that, so I do not allow people to speak to me like that, and so I responded with, Dad, do not speak to me that way. I sent that because I care about you and don't want you to be negatively impacted. Do not speak to me in such a belittling and disgusting way. I'm your daughter. Your daughter. He then responds with, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't believe a word they say anymore. Who is they? Who are we talking about? Because I'm pretty sure the people in that video that I sent him were, number one, not politicians. Number two, do not side with either Republican or Democratic Party. Like, they're just people reading the bill. Like, just reading the bill. I had to run errands, so I'm finishing the video now, sorry. So then I said, that doesn't make it okay to speak to anyone the way you did, especially me, your daughter, your child. I get pissed off seeing what's happening too, but I never speak to people like that. Something that frustrates me about that, him calling me like a sheep and all that kind of stuff, like the disrespect. Just there's no respect for me as a human, and me as his daughter, no less. Like, he knows who I am. He knows the kind of person I am, that I'm a good person, that I'm educated. I am literally 50% of him. And he doesn't care. And the thing is, he comes to me with information all the time that is wrong. Like, it's just, and I show him where he's wrong. I used to. I don't even try that much anymore to, like, show him anything. The only reason I did for this is because it's a big thing that could affect him, and I care about him. But he comes to me with information that is completely false, and it frustrates me so much. Do I ever call him a sheep? No. Do I ever come at him and belittle him or make him feel stupid? No. No. So I don't get it. Like, I know why that's his tactic, okay? Years of knowing this man. My whole life, actually. I know that he does that to make me feel stupid, to shut me up, so that I won't talk about it anymore, and just kind of break me down a little, okay? But I've grown past when that worked. So then he said that he was, like, doing something. He was busy. We can talk later. And I said, we can talk later about it, but only if you've actually read the bill itself or watched a breakdown of it that goes through each section. If you haven't, there's not much to talk about. And that was me trying to be kind, to, like, let it, just go and be like, hey, it's all good. Everything's fine. It's not, but I'll pretend again. And this was his response to me saying that. If all these terrible things in this bill start affecting me and people like me that have always worked and did everything they could to support themselves and never relied on the government, on government aid, I will admit that I was wrong. But until I see the actual effects of it, I will stand by my beliefs. As President Reagan said, the 9 scariest words that you can ever hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I agree with that statement, okay? I will leave it at that and I hope our political differences won't ruin our relationship. I love you. If you know me, you know this isn't okay with me. This whole until it happens to me thing, that's not a good argument. That makes me think you're a bad person and that you're selfish and you don't care about other people. Yeah. And a lot of people rely on government aid. And those people include the elderly that can't work a job. Okay? We're not just talking about whoever you think fits that mold. And that's something that irritates me so much that he does, is he groups all of these people into one group and then hates all of them. So now I'll read to you what I said back. I'm sorry, Dad, but if you're going to react in the way that you did, with that much hostile emotion behind your words, but won't even read the bill that we're talking about, and will only care about damage being done if it happens to you or people like you, that doesn't make any sense. I know that was rambling, sorry. There's no reason for you to have the beliefs you do if you aren't educating yourself on what creates those beliefs. Calling me a sheep for believing the literal words on the document that I have read myself being signed into law because it officially passed the Senate is ridiculous when you haven't even read it yet. If anyone is a sheep, it's people that don't do research before making an uneducated opinion and tell others that they're wrong when others read the literal pages of the document and share it with them. Also, no party has been telling me the same things for 10 years. 10 years ago, I was 15. Girl, I was worried about boyfriends and my grades. That's it. My opinions are based on facts and reading official government documents. If that isn't enough for you to understand the level of education and understanding that I have, then I don't know what would. Stop saying anyone who thinks differently than you is a sheep. Stop saying that I'm all doom and gloom, acting like I have no reasoning to back up the information I show you. I sent you that video because it's important to know the impact this bill will have on the U.S. I sent it to you because I care about you and wanted to make sure you were aware of it. But also, you have to stop only caring when things affect you personally, because other people that aren't you or like you matter equally as much as you do. Common sense, just humanity. Only caring when it affects you is selfish, and it's how laws are made that negatively impact all of us. And once the law is made, it's 10 times harder to make amendments to it or remove it. I'm sorry, but you can't keep belittling me and acting like I'm less educated than you when you are not even reading the documents that are being passed, you know? This is the last text, okay? And just to be clear, political differences are one thing. Having different political views doesn't ruin relationships. It's when moral differences are there, but being labeled as political. These issues I have discussed with you are rooted in morality and humanity. If we have different moral standards, then yes, that does make it harder to have a relationship. The word political is used far too often to excuse low levels of morality, and that's not okay with me. Hey, it's just not. I want to have a relationship with you too. I literally sent you that because I care about you and your well-being. You can't keep acting like... Okay, clearly I was heated when I typed this. It doesn't make much sense. Bear with me. I meant to say, like, you can't keep acting like you don't see the way that you're talking to me, and that the way that you're speaking to me would it make me have a tough time talking to you in the future. I don't speak to people like that, which is why I don't accept people talking to me like that. He did not respond. However, he did send me a video from Facebook about some man talking about the bill, and how everything that I think about it is wrong. This man didn't show any of the document, did not list the number of the section that he was speaking about. He did not show any proof or evidence, and he had one of those inspirational songs in the background to make it less threatening and sound like it's not actually going to affect as many people as it is. I responded, Dad, ... read the bill. That's it. Just read it. That's all. I don't know. I'm just coming on here to vent a little bit because, girl, I could give a whole explanation on my relationship with my dad. It's been tough, but I love him at the end of the day and want to have a relationship with him, but he consistently is making it harder, and is like we're moving towards a point where I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. I didn't realize that he was this deep in the quicksand. Okay? And even if I offer help, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to get out, so I don't know. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye.
You don't get to talk about what's illegal when you voted for a felon. You don't get to talk about what's illegal when you voted for a felon. You don't get to talk about what's illegal when you voted for a felon. You voted for a felon, a convicted felon. Felon. You're fine with illegal as long as it hurts the people you hate.
Now, I can't be the only one who finds it incredibly weird that the same people who politicized the wildfires in California are now also saying that we shouldn't politicize the floods in Texas. I mean, did you notice how quickly the National Guard was sent into California? But when it comes to sending someone like the National Guard in to rescue the about 100 people swept away in a flash flood, crickets. You can't have it both ways, Maga. So which is it? Should national emergencies be politicized or not?
I am in Oklahoma, and the number of people in this state that I have met over the last 2 years who are self-employed and just do not do their taxes, or they do them, but they count so many losses in order to not have to pay taxes. And I think that's fucking interesting because, again, I'm in Oklahoma. This is a very red state. Do you know how these motherfuckers vote? They vote so that children can't get free lunch. They can't get health care. They vote so that single parents can't get more food stamps. They fucking vote so that nobody else can have any resources because their tax dollars pay for it. But they don't fucking pay taxes. I know what you're thinking. They're gonna show up down here. Well, yeah, I don't want to pay all that in taxes. If I did that, I would owe all this money at the end of the year. Yeah, motherfucker. It's what I have taken out of my fucking check. It's what all of us have taken out of our fucking check. But you sure do want to call the fucking police and have them show up, right? You sure do want the fucking fire department to show up at your house. You sure do take advantage of public fucking roads, right? You take advantage of all these fucking public services that everybody else is paying for. And you're out here going, I just don't want to pay a lot of taxes because then I owe a lot of taxes. I get that. But my point is, if you're going to vote for nobody else to have anything, while you essentially pay nothing in, you're a piece of shit. Like, hypocrite isn't even the word. You're just a piece of shit.
Because I was raised in a cult and other people on here talk about cults, I somehow thought that everybody on here was cult literate. Y'all are not cult literate, and I can tell by my comments. And I can tell because many of you think that your MAGA friends, family, coworkers, or whoever are going to call you up one day and say, yo, I was wrong. I was wrong about Trump. That is almost never, ever going to happen because cults leave in silence. It's a quiet quitting. You know, the thing the boomers hate? Yeah, it's a quiet quitting. They don't even tell their spouses. They don't tell their children. They don't tell anyone. They will even play along for years. They won't believe it. They won't do the things they're supposed to do, but they will play along. And as the doubt starts to creep in, sometimes they'll even double down because they're afraid of what that doubt means. And sometimes when you want to talk to them about it and get really loud and angry, that can also be because I can talk crap about the cult I came from, but you can't because they haven't completely sorted it out. So a lot of you are like, well, they're still yelling for this and they're still saying he's great. Yeah, because a lot of them are still locked in there. But the fact that I'm seeing online people critiquing him that are MAGA, they have concerns about him picking fights with other countries, the tariffs are on, then they're off again. Like, are they good or are they not good? Like, what's the deal there? They don't like what's going on with the stock market. A ton of them hate Elon Musk. And I've said from day one, it is amazing that we have Elon in this because they're locked in together because of Putin. Elon's not going anywhere. And Trump loves Elon because Elon has no charisma. So he can never be better than Trump. It doesn't matter how much we try and pit them against each other. Trump knows that Elon would crumble on his own. He cries. He can't handle it. Okay? So you have people online critiquing Trump. That never, ever happened before the election, before the inauguration. You never saw that. Never. They were lockstep. I have people in my own life that are saying they're scared because of the finances. Some of them, their adult children are losing their businesses. I don't think that occurred to them. They are freaked out now. They said they feel duped. They feel like they made the wrong choice. And you will say, well, we told them. You never told the cult a thing because cults cannot hear you. That's like taking a drug and then people are yelling at you something like, just snap out of it. You can't. They cannot hear you the way you think they can. So we walk around angry like, well, we told them. You didn't. You told them something, but their brain changed it around because they are in a 24/7, 365 echo chamber at church, at work, among their friends and family. And you think they're bombarded with the same information you are. They're not. They are literally told we are demons, literal demons, and that we're lying and that we are a cult and we're trying to trick them. You think you've done something when you tell them how it is, but you haven't because they can't hear it until there's something that happens in their lives that makes them doubt or makes them afraid or something doesn't line up or it's not paying out the way they want it to. The other things I'm seeing, I'm just seeing it from people that are hardcore Trumpers, like my sister-in-law's dad. He would do anything for Trump, but man, he hates Elon, and he thinks that that's leading Trump off. So there's a criticism of Trump right there. Like, how is he led off by other people? Like, why is that happening? So there are cracks because cult members never, ever critique the leader. They don't even critique the agenda unless they are so concerned that they have to voice it, because as they start to voice it, it challenges their own beliefs and it threatens their very way of life. And while you want to say, like, well, just walk away, how many people in your life, even including you, have been in a bad relationship? Everybody could see it. Everyone says, that guy's a dick. He's bad for you. He's bad for you. And even the woman will say, like, yeah, I know. Does she get in the car and leave? No, especially if she has kids. These people, a lot of them, their work's tied into the Republican Party. Their church is. So then they have to question their faith on top of their politics. This is way more convoluted than just a religion. It's everything mixed into one. They have to be willing to lose their family. They have to be willing to lose work. My mom still works with conservatives. Does she go picking fights with them? No. But they are starting to admit that they've got some real concerns. They could lose their religion. What they have to do, what you're asking them to do, is the hardest thing they will ever have to do. Leaving a cult is the hardest thing a human can do, because humans biggest fear is being conned. The shame that comes with that is so bad that people will go to the greatest lengths to run from the reality that they got duped, that they wasted all those years of their life, that they hurt other people, that they voted for a Schmittler 2.0. Do you know how hard that is? Like, you guys want to go, just admit you were wrong and admit I voted for Schmittler? This is going to take a lot of time and patience. And I understand if you don't want to talk to him. I get it. But the assumptions you make about how they operate are so far off base that we need to start talking about this and how to possibly break through to them, because everybody's way off on this. So they're not going to call you. They're not going to tell their spouses, their kids, anybody else. This is a quiet quitting. And especially when Trump acts like he's just scooping people off the streets, you think that they're going to go, yeah, I'm getting you, Trump. They're not. They're not. And it takes a while to even process not defending him once you leave, because it's an instinct. So I'm glad for all of you that have messaged me or commented saying, yes, I'm seeing it with my own family. They're now complaining about things they never complained about before, and that is huge. So please understand, there will be no grand announcement when MAGA leaves, but they are leaving, and they're going to do it quietly.
Does anyone else feel like they literally can't be around MAGA people right now? I'm not kidding. Like, I can't breathe your air. There's nothing working up here. Every year you take your boat out for the 4th of July and you wave a flag and you say, I'm so proud to be an American, while simultaneously saying, make America great. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Your party is the one who makes jokes about alligators eating 65 million people. Voting to harm other people while calling yourself Christian is a mental illness. You should be in a hospital. You also shouldn't be voting until you've mastered the yours. There's only 2 of them. I know you think you believe in Jesus and heaven and hell, but clearly you don't. Because when you get to the pearly gates and Jesus says, did you say anything about Laura Loomer and her comment about the alligators in Alcatraz? And you say no, he's going to say, I'm going to need you down there with P. Diddy, okay? And let me tell you, it's going to be hot.
First of all, I am so goddamn sick and tired of hearing Trump supporters talk about it doesn't matter if these immigrants that are being deported have committed any crimes in the United States. Being here as an undocumented immigrant is illegal. That's the crime. After they voted for somebody who was indicted 91 times in 4 separate jurisdictions and less than 1 year ago was convicted of 34 felonies in the state of New York. I mean, it's all been said before, but their hypocrisy, and now it's like Trump is they're deporting people who were here legally. They're deporting people who were here legally. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who the Maryland father who's been sitting in that El Salvadoran prison for a month, was here legally. He'd been here for 10 years legally, married to a U.S. citizen. They had 3 kids together. It seems like the vast majority of people that they're deporting these days are people who are here in the United States legally. And being here as an undocumented immigrant is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense. I mean, I have to believe that sooner or later we're going to hit a point where they just drop the act and they're going to be like, yeah, it's just because we hate immigrants. We don't care if they're here legally or not. We just hate brown people. I feel like we're getting pretty close where that admission is going to just start tumbling out of their mouths. They're taking jobs from white people. I feel like we're like that close. We're like that close to the full admission just coming out. But, you know, we'll see. At some point, you know, even the administration, I think, is going to get to the point where it's like their talking points, just nobody's going to buy them anymore because their actions are so inconsistent with their talking points. They're not deporting people who are dangerous. They're deporting a father of 3 who'd been working here for a decade. They're deporting a gay hairdresser and putting him in an El Salvadoran prison. They're deporting a guy who was here legally who had an autism awareness tattoo on his arm in honor of his young brother who has autism. Those three young men were not sent to that prison in El Salvador. None of them had a criminal record here or in El Salvador. They're in prison in a country where they've never committed a crime because our president paid that president $6 million to do so. But to hear the MAGA chuds spout off about law and order after voting for a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, or fraudster who still owes the state of New York over $500 million for a decade's worth of fraud that he and his sons committed. His company was found guilty of 17 felonies for fraud. But they're here illegally. That's the crime. Fuck off.
So we have Maga hypocrisy at the best. They are claiming that women maybe should not have the right to decide their leader. I don't know. Because as you have seen in the clips, sometimes the MAGA women votes, MAGA white women votes is influenced by their husbands, which is true in most cases. Because you saw the other day in CNN, this Christian nationalist who was giving an interview, he was claiming that women should not have the right to vote. And believe me, this guy has a massive following. That means there are some people he influences. So what about the context of the whole country? So these are people in our country who vote based on hatred and jealousy. And they try to justify that by claiming that I like Trump's character, he is leading through strength. And these Republicans, they keep claiming that Democrats are the socialists, Democrats are communists. But tell me where there is a efficient capitalism system, where socialism is not involved. And tell me the reason why our Kansas farmers who voted for Trump want Trump to bail them out. Why? Isn't that socialism? Isn't that what they keep fighting against? Or rules for thee, but not for me? Why does these farmers want the government to bail them out when they hate socialism so much? Why do they want my tax dollars to bail them out? Let them sort their mess, because that's what they have been fighting against. There has never been an efficient capitalism system. Never. Never. Because if there is an efficient capitalism system, that means wealth will not be distributed equally among the citizens or fairly. Yes. So guys, friends, if you have watched to this end, don't forget to subscribe and comment. You are my loyal followers. That's why I make these videos. I make them for you. Give me a feedback on how to make these videos better, the commentary or the videos which I get. So it has been nice having you watching my videos and being a fan of me. Or maybe we have the same values, I don't know. And let's continue dismantling this hypocrisy affecting our country. We are now divided more than ever. And guys, if your friends switch from Republicans to Democrats, be ready to welcome them, make them feel at home. Maybe they made a mistake. Perhaps there is time to correct, in the upcoming elections. Let's register in mass numbers. And if your guy is not registered, help them register in our political party perhaps. And let's maybe ensure that in the future elections, we carry everyone to the elections. Let's ensure everyone votes, because that's the only way we can make our voice heard. Not in the streets, not in the courts, but in the ballots. Because the ballot is the strongest voice that we have out there. So guys, have a nice time.